Whew. Hey, by the way, I'm sweaty because I just ran 4 miles. What did you do?
I just edited 5 pages, 6 pages,
Mm.
and are you? So is this is this a live situation? People will see this live. Are you just Rip sitting there talking to me after a run?
This is the first time I have done a podcast with my shirt off. I have so much sweat on me that I can't put anything on, and I was running uphill, and so I wanted to make sure that I would make it in time. So I schedule things with that. There's always a ticking clock, and so it gets me going and moving, so I don't have to think I just do. And so there was only 1 hour between my last thing and this thing, and so I just started running, and I ran the 4 miles. I could have Ubered back, but I decided to run, and I didn't have time to shower or anything. But hey, I got it in.
Well, good job, John. So, but my question is: Are people will they be watching this or listening to this, or both?
That's it's none of your business, buddy.
So
Probably both.
you're just sitting there. You're just sitting there all glazed and ripped from
I
running
wouldn't say
uphill.
ripped. You can only see
People,
me tits up.
people,
I mean, I have the tire, the tire around my waist that I just
you've
can't get
got
rid
some
of.
man bun on, and there's going to be a creep factor if people watch this, dude.
This is going to be on my OnlyFans page. I don't know if you know.
John, Kim, my friend, it's been a long time.
It has. And if you're listening and you're like, who the fuck is John talking to? Mr. Buddy Wakefield is
Oh,
an American poet, a 3-time world champion spoken word artist, and
who's that?
the most toured performance poet in history. Wow, that's pretty amazing. Buddy is currently living in Porto, Portugal. When not on tour or leading his online workshop called Writers Anonymous, he offers private sessions to people needing insights, direction, and feedback on their writing and other creative projects. You can learn more about his private sessions and Writers Anonymous at buddywakefield.com. So I asked Buddy to come on my podcast because I haven't talked to him in a long time. And whenever we get together, we are present. And I know that I just trust that through this conversation, there's going to be some value, hopefully.
Well, that remains to be seen, John.
It does. And I wanted to start off with I have these cards here, and I wanted to start off with pulling a card. I'm going to read this, Buddy. This is by
It's like a
Danielle
deck
Laporte.
is this a tarot deck?
No. A writer, a friend of mine, she makes these really cool, beautiful cards. I'm going to
Yeah.
read one of these cards. By the way, Buddy, you should make these cards. I could see your words on this, and then people pulling them daily. So undo yourself. Self acceptance will be the undoing of you, the undoing of identities that are terribly false or too narrow, even the spiritual ones or the socially applauded achieving ones. You will be called to unlearn heaps of dogma. You will be invited to forgive the seemingly unforgivable and to abandon things that you spent a long time constructing. You will have you will have to navigate in the world with fewer operating principles, fewer laws, and more awe. What comes up for you when you hear that? Undoing yourself.
Wow. I'll tell you the first thing that came up when you were reading it. I finally gave in after all the hype and the talk around ayahuasca, and I went to
Oh,
Germany
shit. Wow.
and did a thing. And
How was it? You're
funny you
still
ask.
there. You're not back yet, I could tell.
No, this was some time ago. This was probably a year. This is over a year ago. But the unwind was the big takeaway. The unwind part, the undoing, and I physically felt what it meant to unwind, and that was a first. And
Did you puke and shit and all that most people do?
I
Or
was a
no?
shitter. I was a shitter. So
Oh,
what happens
beautiful.
is most people either puke
Mm-hmm.
or they shit, and
Yeah.
I shat, which is not the most fun thing to do
No.
when deeply hallucinating, but I understood why I was doing it, and that was fantastic. Every time I had, whether it was a micro revelation or a macro one, like if every time I had a revelation, my body would clear. It was fascinating. I could
Mm.
physically watch the results of my discoveries, and it was just pushing it out. Every time I let go of some shit, I let go of some shit. So
Cleansing, literally. You never told me about this. So did that ayahuasca, did it change you, that experience, or not so much?
absolutely, man.
Yeah.
I was resistant to it because I had done so many other things, and I was in recovery. I had to have a talk with my sponsor for a long time about it, and but I knew that it was going to have an effect. I wanted to take it seriously. A friend strongly encouraged me to go to this particular woman. I did, and it did change me. I mean, well, the law of nature's change, so that's a constant, continuous thing. But it changed me in the way that I could see truth, for better or worse. It sort of stripped everything away except the voice of reason,
Mm,
um, and it was such honest insight without searching for anything. There was basically a do nothing situation happening,
right.
and along with the visuals and that were coinciding with my emotions, that were coinciding with my wants and my hopes and my experiences. Everything just, when distilled, boiled down to the truth, which was clear, which felt nice. And I think the next logical question would be, well, buddy, what was the truth? And that was
Yeah.
only coming to me in visuals.
Oh, interesting. It was abstract. Um,
Yeah.
I think your move to Portugal. So Buddy Wakefield used to live in Los Angeles, and he moved to Portugal about a year ago, 2 years ago.
2 years now, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
wow, it's flying. And I think that was part of your undoing. You moving to Portugal was in a way an undoing. No, what do you think about
In
that?
more ways than one.
You mean like wheels falling off
Boy, you know, the
or
wheels
clearer
fell
lenses?
off. They got put back on. The wheels fell off again. They got put
Right.
back on. Um, uh,
Are the
uh,
wheels on now? Are they training wheels?
it's such an interesting question. Let's dive into that, John. Are the wheels
Yes.
on now? So I got to tell you today, I mean, you're such an important person in my life, and we've done so many podcasts together.
Thank you.
And
I wouldn't know by the
um,
by your texts, but anyway, go on. Thank you for publicly saying that.
well, but you're just a wretched man on text, so there's a completely different
That is true.
attitude that has to be taken with you. Um,
Buddy and I are part of a locker room text. Lots of testosterone, dick jokes, very immature kind of middle school humor, which we need too. I'm
Absolutely,
50 and I need some of that. It's good.
it's good to have a safe space to be
Yeah,
stupid. Is that right? Is that a? Don't quote that.
it's good to have a
um,
safe space. That's stupid. I think it is. To kind of let yourself not be responsible for a little bit. I mean, we don't live there. It's just on our phone, right? It's
yeah,
a text. Yeah.
yeah. So the wheels on? You know. So anyway, going back to you and looking forward to today, there was just a pit in my stomach all day of I don't want to do a podcast. I don't
Mhm.
feel. It's not that the wheels are off, and it's not that they're on. I feel like I'm hovering. You know, I feel like I'm hovering in the middle in a dignified place that is fully aware that I don't think I'm at liberty to be disseminating a lot of useful information to people right now without um, putting more into practice what I know to be healthy in my life. I feel like I've got about 8 oranges in my hand and I can only juggle 6.
Mhm.
And so there's nothing, I mean, a lot of it's good problems to have. There's nothing devastatingly wrong. Life is happening fast and I think I'm just in a place where the most important thing to do now is not get swept away by life, by the current at the moment, because it could go a wrong direction. It's a lot of pressure coming in, and I
Yeah.
think the best thing to do is run as fast as I can to presence and meditation, where is my happy place, the love of my life is meditation. I've just not done that, so I was nervous to come on because I know we usually go pretty deep, and I often will relay information I found useful in my life. I don't feel at liberty to do that when I'm not necessarily walking my talk. And I think I've been moving too fast to walk the
I
talk.
think when you're not walking your talk, which makes you in a kind of a vulnerable state, is when you're the most potent as a catalyst. So I think when the wheels are on tight and you've got momentum and things are great, people don't care. People don't want to hear that shit. But when you're kind of unsure, unknown, I don't have answers, people can relate to that. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I found, and also as a therapist, kind of this idea of coming with you instead of at you. But I have a question for you. So when it comes to addiction, um, when good things happen in your life, is it harder to keep the wheels off? I think there's a misconception that people run toward their vice, their drug, whatever it is, um, when things are bad. But actually, I think like for me, when good things happen, I get scared. That's when my wheels come off, not necessarily
You're speaking
when
my
bad things happen.
language.
Yeah. I don't
You're
trust
speaking my
myself
language.
if I get a windfall or a good deal or something comes out of the blue and I get some
Mhm.
kind of quote unquote successful thing. That's when I don't trust myself. I trust myself when I'm in the trenches. When I have nothing, I trust myself. When I have everything, I don't trust myself.
Yeah, you're speaking my language, man. So, for sure. I mean, I've been such a subconscious fan of sabotage. I'm still, still
Yeah.
learning I'm still navigating what the hell that means entirely. But I do think that I am so good at navigating suffering that I will often rise. I'll often rise from falls that I take in vain just for a reason to stand. So I'll just go fall down because I'm so good at getting back up, and it looks
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. And
Um,
also as an artist, I mean, if things are too good, what the hell are you going to, what's your art going to be about? The clouds?
Yeah, well, I live for the day. I just got this line. I've been trying to put it in this new piece. Uh, uh, I've been trying to put it in this new piece. I live for the day. I can honestly say I've got no more fight left in me.
Mm.
Um,
Ooh,
eh,
yeah. Wait, hold on. I live for the day. I can honestly say I have no more fight left in me. So meaning you live for the day that the wait isn't about the getting up or the stand, but there's
yeah,
no more fight. And so, wait, does that mean that
that
you're
I don't.
down, or does that mean that you're up
No,
when there's no
no,
more fight?
that would mean I'm entirely. Well, I mean, in those terms, it would be up, but just entirely removed from it, where I'm just so thankful for the moment and what I have. And I don't care you know, if my art's speaking to people or not, because I'm actually in a place of joy. And
Yeah.
yeah, I care for sure. But I think, I've spent so much time. I think it boils down to this, disjointed as it may sound. I've, I've spent so much time practicing the better, being the better, doing better,
Mm-hmm.
that I've not necessarily enjoyed the better enough. And
Mm.
I think in order to do that, there is a bit of a removal from my art from the constant badgering witness.
What does the better look like for you these days in everyday life?
Well,
I mean, is it come in the form of a croissant? What does the better look like for you
you
these
know,
days?
John, don't get me started. You know
You and
about
I, no,
me.
I'm with you. We're both addicted to pastries, so it's not just
Yeah,
you, man.
pastries never actually
Hence
fall.
the camera being, nipples up and not showing my midline with my shirt off, drenched in sweat.
Pastries have never fallen into the enlightened category for me. I mean, I would like to
But
say
there
that
is
I
joy. No, there
enjoy
is joy in pastries.
for
If
you
you have
because you
like an
have
amazing, what's that?
restraint, but I get to six pastries and like, man, I feel bad about this again.
All right, right, yeah. You go extreme. Got it, got it.
Yeah,
What
I
is Buddy, stay with me because this is really good. What is the better for you nowadays? You're in Portugal. You're you got these classes. You're writing. Your wheels are on, wobbly but on. What is the better for you these days? Meaning joys of life,
connection,
nectar.
connection,
Mm,
connection. Emphatic
explain.
period. I've spent. I mean, I was on tour for 20 years before COVID, and then life bum rushed me with surprise addiction, and
Mm-hmm.
and uh, and I've just I think I was, and especially in LA, I went through such an isolation that I didn't even recognize how isolated I was. Uh, and so the better has been seeking connection and getting out and having a blast in Porto with my friends and my best friend's family, and dating and going down to the river and renting a scooter and taking it to where the river meets the sea about 4 kilometers ahead, and doing that,
Wow.
getting in the sun as often as possible, because otherwise I'm just looking at a to-do list, tackling left and right, and it just doesn't include, it's just a checking things off the list, and I can get wrapped up in that to-do list quick. And so just getting outside, making connection, and also, boy, and I don't know how to say this and make it sound any fun at all, but just being thankful for the little things. Um,
Mm.
I was standing in an inconsequential spot in my apartment, just thinking, you know what, dude, this could be it. Like, you need maybe $1,500 a month that you need, and this is a great place to live, and a beautiful apartment, and a balcony over a street where that they shut down every Sunday for community. It's a main street, dude. And it doesn't matter if 30 people show up or 3,000. They shut it down on Sundays for community. And I look down and I watch people doing, like, every weekend's different. It could be ping pong or an art fair or bingo or a potluck. It doesn't matter. If this is it, man, if this is it, what do I have to be sad about? There's bonus material coming, like a partner, and the ability to travel and things like that with money. But really, I have everything I need, and so being thankful for those things after a lifetime of touch and go, of going through all the marriages my parents went through, and to touring for 20 years. It's all just been so touch and go, and I have found a great discomfort in being still, that I'm looking, that the better is starting to let me enjoy more.
I love what you're saying. I think it's important. I want to do an exercise because I want to milk this. I want to stay on this beat. I'm going to say a nectar in my life. When you were just talking about Portugal and how they close the street down, and you got very specific connection. So let's hit the ball back and forth, because I want to remind the listener that to refuse to have a lukewarm life, you don't need to win the lottery, right? I love that you said $1,500 a month. I mean, not in Los Angeles, you would be on the streets, but in Portugal. I love how specific that was. And I think people need to hear this today because of inflation and the rise of tech. And, there's just a lot of stuff happening where people can feel lost, and they're grabbing and they feel like they don't have much in life. So I'm going to close the garage, right? Just give me 2 seconds, and then we're going to hit the ball back and forth. 1 sec.
No worries. I've got my mic turned off when you're talking so that we don't get the sounds of Porto passing by. Your mic's off, John.
Okay, I'm going to start wrestling on the couch with my 3-year-old daughter.
Hanging for new prints.
The birth of a new idea.
Bocce ball with my best friend and his dad and a new friend we made, and a load of shit talking.
Watching a sunset with a gas tank in between my legs.
Oh man, and the sunset here in Gaia's, where the river meets the sea, is unbelievable.
Coffee with a friend with no motives, and just hearing each other's stories.
Your friend Brandon affording me a breathwork session
Mm,
that blew my mind.
mm. A good meal that doesn't require the swiping of a credit card.
uh, the day of meal prep is meditative.
The couple seconds of dopamine after an ice plunge.
blue eyes in Portugal because because they
Is that
it
rare?
ups my, it's well, I don't know that it's rare. It's just I would suspect I might be at 7.5 or 8 if we're getting real, and I think they push me up in this location to about an 8.5. That makes me happy.
I think that's fair. The British accent is one of those things where can push someone from like a 6 to an 8.
Really?
Don't you think so? You don't think British accents are sexy?
No, no, man.
Really? Oh
I
man,
got you. Like, listen, listen. It's not missed on me that accents can be a sexy thing. For me, it's not the British one. Uh,
what is it?
it's
Midwest?
it's
No, not the Midwest, buddy.
nailed it.
Y'all.
Oh man, I love that activity. There's something that happened in there. Oh, we were talking about your boy Brandon Grew,
Yes,
who did
breath
the
work.
prep work.
Brandon.
Man, if there's anything to talk about in terms of a revelation, I got to share with you what happened during a session. So, you know, my whole life, probably yours, probably a lot of people's, especially seekers who are, doing the do better, um, have heard at some point, you got to love yourself. You gotta you gotta love your inner child. You gotta go
Hmm.
back and let that kid know, he was all right, or
Right.
whatever, whatever that approach looks like from whoever you heard it from. Well, I've heard that a lot, and
Hmm.
and it came up during that session with Brandon, and like every other time I've ever heard it, my eyes rolled deeply to the back of my head, like, oh God, here we go again. Listen, I love
right.
the dude. I love the dude. He's fine. I get it. I mean, he was annoying. I forgive him. I wouldn't have hung out with him either, but I love it. He was what he was, man.
Right.
He was a fine kid. Let's let it go. Sure, I love my inner child.
Hmm.
That's not helping. That's not helping with my life. Thank you for bringing it up over and over. Now here's the deal. What Brandon did, though, I was inside the breath work. He was playing the best music, man, and
yeah.
not one single. The only cue he has to go off of is my breath, and he was reading it like waves, man. And he said, after he basically, and this is me paraphrasing, what he was doing was brilliant, but basically after telling me to love my inner child, for like me look at my inner child and love myself, he then said, now I want you to be your inner child and look at you now and love and
Oh.
forgive yourself,
Oh,
dude.
he
And when I
flipped it.
shifted, listen, John, when I shifted, it's the simplest flip ever, but when I looked at me from my inner child, that little gay fucking kid was so excited. He was like, holy shit, you
Wow.
did what? You became who? He was so unconditionally in love and freaked out, excited about who I got
Mm.
to be in this life. And it was the first time, I'm emotional now, that there's so much unconditional love from that little warbly
Mm.
gay kid who was constantly teased, it was just a phenomenal thing to witness how excited I was as a child to see who I became now. And I got to tell you, it was been 2 or 3 weeks ago. And there's not a moment when I think about who I was as a kid now, who every time I look back now, instead of seeing him playing alone or throwing a ball up in the air and catching it, there's not a time now that I'm in these last 3 weeks that I don't see that kid just being like, yeah, fuck yeah, no, I'm still stoked on who you are. Like,
Yeah.
I know you're bored with it. I know you're like, doing your adult thing, but did you see who you got to have sex with? You know, are you seriously eating whatever food you want to and still
right.
looking like that? Go on, dude. So happy for you.
Wow.
And screaming, I love you, man. I love you. I can't wait for you. And whereas I'm, walking around day to day forgetting that lens, and it's still me. It's on a continuum, man. It's still me, and I'm just trying to juggle 8 oranges and check off to doozies. But
Mm.
if I stop, and I'm present, I get to draw that kid nearer now because I recognize that I don't have to be self-indulgent enough to only look and try and forgive this weird kid, but he's my source. It's not a matter of me forgiving him or not. It's him driving me, man. Like, so stoked. This is who we wanted to be.
Buddy, when you flipped it, because I've never heard that before, when you flipped it, I got chills like I was watching the end of The Sixth Sense. And how much perspective you get when you think of your, because me, it was the Korean kid in the 80s with the bowl haircut and trying to fit in and shit with on a huffy bike. And that kid, because when you told me about that, I just kind of did it with myself just for a split second. And also I wasn't incorporating breath, which is a lot more powerful. But that little 10-year-old, my name was Chucky. And looking at me now as a 50-year-old with a daughter, riding Harley, doing CrossFits and podcasting and stuff, um, I think he would be. I think he would be proud. I think he'd be
Man, that
excited.
kid's freaking out. Have you seen what you've done in the last few years? Have you seen what you've built? Have you seen the number of books you've written and the
No,
reviews and the
I'm just in the
tours? And,
garage.
and
Like I'm just in the garage
sure,
playing with Legos, man.
sure, humble lot, Buttercup. It's fine, but that boy is freaking the fuck out unabashedly. No humble brat. Like he's telling the world, look who I got to become. John, look
Oh,
at you.
thanks,
Come on,
buddy.
your inner child, especially from your background, dude. That kid's so crazy about you. And listen, when Brandon said Brandon Grew was who the source of this whole experience, and when it happened, when he flipped it, dude,
Mm.
I broke. I
Yeah.
never saw it coming. And I didn't want to do the breath work. I had done it a couple times before, and every time I had done it, I got a lot out of it. But there was something in my brain that was like, this feels like work. And it was. But man, the payoff within an hour. And I
Wow.
was shattered, man. When he flipped it, I was shattered. And then he took it one step further and said, now I want you to look at who you are from you right now, like
Mm.
face to face with myself in the moment and do the same thing. And I don't think I would have done that as well had I not had my inner child just
Look at you
previously
first.
behind me and still with me going,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, no, it doesn't matter. You got to be this.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter whether or not you forgive you or love you or whatever. As my child is saying, I do. You made it, dude. You made it out of, and then fill in the swamp. You know what I mean? Like, you made it
Mm-hmm.
out of that. You trudged out of it. It was not fucking easy. You were terrified the entire time, just doing your best, and you made it. And yeah. So it was, it was pretty incredible, man.
That is
And I
amazing.
would,
And the revelation also for me is that we actually have the ability to step out of ourselves and see us through a new lens. I mean, because it's not like you took any kind of medications, you didn't have any surgeries. All you did was breathe, and it was guided, and you took in instruction and used your imagination, and you were able to see yourself differently. I think is so powerful.
yeah, it was, man. And regarding medication, I think it's important to note, because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I had a disconnected wire um, along the way. And I think we have a mutual friend named CJ who
Mm-hmm.
showed me to made some suggestions regarding, like, if I was diabetic, would I take insulin? Of course I would. And she recommended that I just check out the idea of a medication for what's been going on for me my whole life. And
Sure.
I was one of the lucky ones who the first medication I took, it worked. And so I don't F with that. So I know you were just saying it in passing in general, but medication is also necessary to connect the dots for people missing certain chemicals or what have you. Um,
Yeah.
and I just want to throw that in there, especially because it's a Mental Health Awareness Month. I'm
Yeah, absolutely.
working.
And as long as it's prescribed and it works for you. I mean, there's a lot of people recovering from depression and other things, uh, ADHD, whatever, and they require the medications are huge and beneficial. So yeah, I see that as well for sure.
Uh, on the tip of mental health awareness, I'm so I'm being commissioned to write a piece. I'm looking it up right now. I'm being commissioned to write a piece for Mental Health Awareness Month,
Oh, nice.
and I'm doing it. I'm doing it for something called Voices with Impact, and I
Mm.
just wanted to give that quick shout out. Voices with Impact. Um,
I got
I'm
excited. I thought you were going to read us something.
well. It's it's a brand new thing, and I'm really stoked about it. It's the first new thing I've written in quite a while. But uh, Oh, sorry. The reason I'm just throwing it out there, Voices with Impact, is because they sent me a whole like here's how to promote situation.
Yeah.
That's not my bag. So I feel like if I can nail it right here, y'all check
You
out
did
Voices with Impact because I might
you did a
forget to
really
post it.
good job baking it in organically, buddy. That was
Thank
stellar.
you.
The
Thank
lead
you, man.
into the you took my you opened the door with the medication, went into mental health month, and then to your promotion, which is great.
Flawless.
It was
Yeah.
seamless. Yeah, the only thing that wasn't
Wow.
seamless was me announcing it. I'm sorry.
So yeah, I would love to do it. I just don't have it finished yet. But I gotta tell you, I've not been excited about a piece like this in a while. It's been, I
Where are
think,
you
a couple
performing
years.
it?
Like uh, live at home. They just
Oh,
want it
exciting.
recorded in landscape, and then they're going to show it to 2,000 folks uh, from what I send them. So I'm just recording it on basically
Nice.
in my natural habitat, sending it to them, and that's all they asked of me. So, uh, and they didn't even ask me to write a new piece. I wanted they wanted me to perform one of the old ones, and I said no. If you're going to pay me, let's do it right.
Nice. I
And
love it.
it was also a challenge to myself.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of your work, and I can't wait to watch this. And I'm sure you're going to post it on your social, right? Your channels?
Yeah,
No.
look out for. I haven't decided whether or not to call it the Answer Stampede or a
Mm,
hooligan tattoo. So just be on the lookout for either one of those. It golly, I wish I could do it for you, but it's still missing a couple dots and cross T's and that kind of thing.
you know what? There's no pressure. And I was also going to say every time I have you on, I'm always pressuring you to do a piece. And I told myself for this episode, um, of course, I'm going to do the same. No, I told myself I'm not going to give you that. I said, you know what? We're just going to shoot the shit and talk like no one's listening. And I always trust that with you, whenever we collide, we always create some kind of ripple. So zero pressure.
Indeed.
Yeah. I just wanted to
Plus,
know how you're doing.
I don't know when this podcast airs, and I promised them they'd be the first to have it.
Yes,
And
I
I
think I
think
think
that's
that's
where we
fair.
go away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Great, no
Well,
pressure.
let me ask you this. Any other revelations since we last spoke?
Yes,
Any other? Yes. Go
yes,
ahead.
absolutely. Thanks for asking. Abraham Hicks has walked back into my life
Oh, yeah,
by
yeah. I
some.
used to listen and watch her YouTube.
Well, it never gets old how the answer is still the answer in so many respects. Uh, but Abraham Hicks pops up on my Spotify somehow, and it is this dude remixing. He's got a whole album just basically setting music behind Abraham Hicks,
Oh,
and
interesting.
with some synthesized drums and such. And but he pounds it out in a really nice way. Anyways, so she has reschooled me on a number of levels, but the biggest one being in terms of one, new story, and two, relief. And so just creating a new story of, and that's why the wheels neither on or off today is because I'm so dead smack dab in the middle of creating this new story for myself and recognizing how to shed the old one.
Mm,
And it's such an easy thing to say, but it's actually a physically odd thing to let go of the old story if one is set on doing that and serious about it. Like my body is like, wait, I won't get to dwell on this anymore.
right.
I won't get to worry about this anymore. Like you mean you want to you mean you want a happy home and a partner and to be on the ocean? Like really, dude, that's what if you don't get it? But that's
Hmm.
not the story that I want anymore. And so yeah, creating a new story. And then she talks about relief. And uh,
Did she give tips on how to release old stories?
Well, yeah, that's where the relief comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying earlier about being so good at navigating suffering. I just wrote this the other. It's something so simple. It's basically, um, if you if you thought yourself into feeling good as much as you think yourself into feeling bad, you'd be feeling better by now. And
Mm,
it's and so the but it's not even necessarily thinking myself into, it's just looking at the thoughts that cause relief. So I'm excited to see my friend John. I'm smack dab in the middle of the day and overwhelmed. The thought of relief is I'm excited to see my friend John today. I'm excited to I'm gonna have dinner. I'm gonna sit down. Like there's gosh, I'm giving the most mundane examples, but any thought of relief is simply not one that drags you down.
yeah. Yeah, I think the fact that
Simple
they
as
are
that.
mundane is what makes them powerful. So
Well,
I love the simplicity of finding relief in little things that you have that's not dependent on someone else's yes or no, you know?
yeah, man. And I think a lot of people hear that and they're like, yeah, okay, dude, thoughts of relief. Gotcha. Because it's so simple, right? So
Mhm.
it's the same thing with, I think, are you witness? I can memorize. You can tell me a grocery list of 100 items, send me to the store, and I can come back with number 13. And I never have to write it down, never have to, I
Oh,
only
yeah,
need to
we
use it
did.
once.
Okay, so Buddy Wakefield did a memorizing game where, yeah, up in the woods, and you like memorized and you spit back like what was it?
Well, that was
I
your
mean,
that was your boy Brandon. That was your boy Brandon again. He had his own memory game and he was testing mine, and so he made me memorize 10 different complex sentences
yeah, and you did it. It was amazing.
yeah, and that was more of I don't know where that came from. I remember it being like an old drunk college game that was nearly impossible, but because I perfected my own memory technique so much, I uh I was able to do that one. But it's this memory technique I have where you can tell me it doesn't matter how many items I can. You just say it to me once, like one is eggs, two is bread, three is cheese, and
Hmm.
I could would be able to go to the store and bring you the odds, the evens, whatever. Never write it down. Never have to look at a list. Never have to hear it a second time. And when I tell people how I do it, they like people are mesmerized. And I used to make extra tips when I was bartending when it was slow during the day, and I would bet $5 that I could memorize a list, and I would be walking around cleaning and bartending. They would give me the list, and they would be freaked out. How did you do that, dude?
Right,
And when I would say the answer, when I would try to explain what it is I did to do that, they're like, "Oh, that's it? Yes, that's it. That's all it is."
right.
So
The
yeah,
simplicity.
my memory pegging, the way I peg a memory, that's it. It's so easy. But can you do it? No, because you haven't stopped to take the time to do it. It's the same way with finding thoughts of relief. Have you done it? Yes, it's easy, but it could also change the world if we'd stop and do it. So
Right.
I think people pass off the easy answer because it's easy when it's actually never not going to be the answer.
There's so much potency in simplicity. And so when you talk about the mundane, when you talk about right now, we're talking about using relief as anchors in our lives, right? So um, I remember in high school when things weren't going well, and the girl didn't like me. In high school, everything is life or death, or I didn't get the designer jeans or whatever. Um, I would be at the beach, usually Manhattan Beach here, and I would think about what am I looking forward to, and it's something as simple as the party that night, or a school dance, or the football game, or whatever. Constantly forcing myself as a practice uh, to look forward to something is exactly what we're talking about now. It's finding relief. What do you have in your life that you are looking forward to? That isn't some big thing that is going to change your life. And so I think training yourself to do that will change your life as a practice if that's how you choose to live.
Absolutely. Something I'm noticing in yours when I'm following along from Portugal, because you're so present online, so I get to keep up with you. Um, that I'm really loving is, yeah, is that you're finding that simplicity on a whole new level now. You've created a space in the sun where you're, in terms of connection, your pockets are deep. You're making so many great connections out there, and uh, and creating the means so that you can enjoy simplicity more. And it's always my hope that you're actually getting to do that and making that happen, and
Well,
slowing up at the right times.
here's what's ironic, and I need that reminder from you, from friends like you. What's ironic is as you build more things, or uh, get more financially secure, or whatever, as you have more, it's harder to find the simplicity, right? So when you don't have anything, when I had nothing, the styrofoam cup of coffee, one donut, and Wayne Dyer in my ear was everything, right? Water pressure and high sheet thread count was
Yes,
everything.
yes.
No holes in your socks. The moment when she kisses you back was everything. Now that I have more, it's harder to find something as simple as a sunset valuable and meaningful. I have to condition myself and remind myself the things that matter aren't necessarily,
Man,
lined
I'm
with gold.
constantly on the lookout that I am constantly on the lookout for what you're saying as I create my new story, John, because
Mm-hmm.
the truth is I do want to be more financially backed up.
Yeah.
And I want my gold standard backed up. And but I'm noticing on the way to getting there the things that will drag people down once they do. And I'm noticing that my aversion to that may block the creation of my new story. So I'm really the reason for neither wheels on or off is just a real observation in a time of real observation and tug and flow of uh, how to do it without hurting myself.
Right.
My hesitancy is because I would like for you to edit out the words tug and flow.
All my shit's not edited. You know that.
I know this. I'm 100% clear on this.
um, you used the word peg, and I'm not going to put that in the title. Pegging. You said something about pegging, but
Memory pegging.
I am going to put in the title because I think there's a lot of good stuff in this episode. Relief as anchors, connection, obviously, but my favorite part of this episode was looking at yourself through the young you and the power of that. So thank you for sharing that. It's something I never heard before. It's also something, if you're listening, you could put that in your back pocket. Buddy, you can now, because you had that experience, you could use it again, right? You don't need a session with Brandon to look at yourself today through the young Buddy Wakefield, right? That's something you could do at any time.
I don't. I'm excited to know that when I do sessions with Brain in the future, there's more. There's more to come. The guy really knows what he's doing. And but I'm drawing. I can't imagine if it's too late. I am who I am, and I fucked up beyond compare. So the kid still. I mean, it's so exciting to have the
Yeah.
boy love me that much.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember, and I want to kind of end with this. I remember when I was a 10-year-old and I was breakdancing, I was the runt of a breakdancing crew. And I remember I used to look up at the older kids and have admiration, wanting to be with them, be like them. The cool uncle that rolled up in the Suzuki Samurai or whatever it was that in the 80s. And now, seeing that, like I imagine if I rolled up, would he have the same response? And if that answer is yes, man, what a great feeling that is. So thank you for that.
100%.
Yeah. Check out Buddy Wakefield. All his stuff will be in the show notes. He is a creative genius. His writing classes are amazing. And you could follow him at, what is it?
Anything at Buddy Wakefield,
Yep.
Twitter,
Just like
Instagram.
me. Yeah. Across the board. All right.
I
Thank you
don't do
for
so great with TikTok, but I'll be there.
fuck TikTok. Buddy, you got Instagram, and you have all your
Yeah,
buddywakefield.com.
thank you.
Buddy is an experience, and he's best absorbed live.
Yeah.
All right. Be well.